Alright, so this week we have Hop Till You Drop and Turning Point. Now, the first of these two episodes I feel will be a lot more just kind of like lighthearted and fun, because it's going to be Anne taking the Plantars to the mall, like learning about what, you know, being on Earth is like and stuff like that. So I feel that's going to be really funny and just cute. Turning Point, though, I think is the episode that most people are going to be looking forward to, because it's going to be what happened with Grime and Sasha after the events of True Colors, and they're going to go to Wortwood. So it's going to be really interesting seeing how, you know, they're going to handle the situation that they're in. What are the people of Wortwood going to do? Because they don't really like Sasha and Grime that much. They've been slowly warming up to them since, you know, Battle of the Bands. But, you know, still not on the best terms. And, you know, Sasha and Grime are probably going to have to break the news about the Plantars and Anne and everything that happened there. So yeah, just a lot of interesting stuff in terms of like how that dynamic between Sasha and Grime and Wortwood is going to happen. But I think this is going to be like the real, like the marking of Sasha's redemption. I mean, the episode's called Turning Point, so I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, those are kind of like my thoughts going into these two episodes. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh hey, we actually get the intro this time around. I mean, we already saw it, but like, you know, it's nice to actually get it before an episode.
Where you going, Anne?
Okay.
The
Get the mail?
mailbox? Sounds exciting! Can we come? Please, please!
Literally like 20 feet away.
Yeah, I guess.
Ah, they all have their new outfits. Oh, Polly's got like a little wig. I always forget how weird Polly looks without her bow.
That looks fun.
Oh no, Sprig, you're gonna get turned into
Free
frog paste.
vacation? Just for listening to your talk? Well,
Oh,
sign
God.
me up.
Yeah, you guys might want to stay inside.
And Sprig almost got turned into wood chips.
Wait, Sprig is made out of wood?
Yeah.
Slow and steady, like how I'm easing this egg into.
Dang it!
Just be patient.
I always hate it when
This
you
is
break
a
the
lot of
yolk.
new for them.
Free money? And all I have to do is give you my bank account numbers?
You don't even have a bank account number, Hop Hop.
Once at the most chaotic and dangerous place I know.
The mall. I wonder if we're gonna get any like callbacks to Hopping Mall, since this is another mall episode.
Yeah, we don't need no stinking traitor. Profile.
We're addressing this now? Like Polly's temper hasn't been an issue before?
But there's so many new surfaces and textures. Your mission is
Oh,
to walk
man.
through that gallery
Especially
of
in
art
COVID
installations
time, that is
without
not
touching
safe.
any of them.
Because they think I'm gullible and easily scammed?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's
Yes.
actually pretty clever.
Oh god, no, not the
Watching all of you
kiosks.
from up, then you can't be trusted to leave the house.
Since when did you set the...
I haven't know.
Nothing.
Ha 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 ha.
Why,
Mickey
Anne, thought
Mouse,
this would be
Disney,
difficult.
ha.
Oh, hello there. I think there's been a misunderstanding, but that's
Okay, that's a literal baby though, Polly.
ruining my walk.
I don't remember this many babies ever being at a Build-A-Bear though.
I can just look and appreciate from afar.
Bill Cipher. My question is, how will Anne know if they failed or not?
Must be some kind of performance piece.
Do you want to regrow that hair? I know you do.
Hey there,
Man, you don't even know about his whole hair story.
Mark here, got a suspicious.
Actually, Yoko.
I'm glad that I never really had to deal with this in school. Just because of the circles I was in, this wasn't really like a thing. Oh my god, is that supposed to be Cactar from
Things are
Final
just
Fantasy?
so.
Wow, that is very... That fluff ball had a lot more mass. we're literally fighting babies. Why? No. Glass bottles don't exist anymore. Those aren't safe for babies.
Told you.
No!
Thousands of coppers just there for the taking.
No.
Free!
A love triangle is now some kind of disgusting love rhombus.
Worse.
Help me, Anne! Help me! Ah!
Oh god. Why?
Are you green?
Everything has it.
Is it because it's just that gross?
Listen here, Mr.
Headquarters, I got a pack of
Moms. Honestly, I feel any job where you work with, like, kids, I feel like the parents are honestly worse. The kids can be pretty bad, but the parents are usually worse.
Well,
Remember when she was looking at her phone and walked right into that pool of quicksand?
Or when she was napping outside and a swarm of skull suckers tried to carry her away?
I mean, we could really just recap the first, like, 2 seasons, basically.
Oh, yes, please. My skin is burning.
But yeah, those fountains are pretty nasty. But now we got the turning point. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yep, some days earlier. We don't even know the exact amount of time. Now, did Sasha get thrown out the window? No, she did not.
Marcy!
Man, imagine seeing that.
What about you two? Are you with me?
We're with you. Definitely with you.
I feel like they're gonna lie and then try to sneak out with Marcy, and then they're gonna get caught, and then they're gonna join up with Anna and the others.
The window?
Yeah, so she does eventually get tossed out a window. Just not when people thought. Yeah, you're like, oh, hey, alright, Joe Sparrow coming to the rescue. Don't know why. Oh gosh, Suki. Alright, you gotta go. There we go. Alright. Fixed.
Your tower? Andreas will be expecting that.
Then we'll have to go.
Yeah, you can also just blow it up like the last one.
Is it just me, or is the palace flying?
Where are the plants?
Yes,
Where's
it
Anne?
is.
Where's Spring?
The king has turned out to be a ruthless tyrant of unspeakable power.
Well, I never voted for him.
And the Plantars
You don't really. No one voted for him. He's a king.
looking out for us.
Why, that's wonderful.
They're being a lot more welcoming than I thought they'd be.
We'll ditch this crummy town. Dibs on Hop Pop's bed. You gonna come in or just stand there and be weird?
I think I'll sleep in the barn.
Now that is a big potato.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna go sleep in the corner with the rest of the trash.
I mean,
It's all
yeah.
someone like me deserves.
I mean, your actions did kind of lead to some of this.
Friends and inadvertently helping a king get the music box. But you've got to get a hold of yourself.
Yeah, but like Andreas's plan was gonna probably happen regardless.
I wasn't sure about those two, Archie, but they turned out to be good eggs.
Yep, here we go. The guilt trip.
Showing me the importance of honesty, being true to yourself, the meaning of friendship.
Yeah, just keep stacking those layers on this guilt cake.
Can't write if one more country bumpkin.
Free bread is fun.
Great news! I got a message from Beatrix. She's hiding underground.
Oh, hey,
with the
Beatrix
toads
is
that
okay,
won't
alright.
capture. You want another strawberry, little guy?
That bat's so cute.
I don't know. Maybe we're doing this all wrong.
You think?
What is it this time?
Signal reinforcements.
Yeah.
Thing
Well,
was calling
let's
for
see if
help. There's
that
probably a
happened
whole army of
before
them on
you
their
got
way
smashed.
now.
It probably did.
Lies, manipulation, backstabbing. It's like your thing. Since when have you cared?
I mean,
Since I saw the consequences.
yeah. Frank got stabbed in front of her.
Whatever you're...
No, she's gonna come back to you and be like, hey, we should help Workwood. And Anne really didn't make this place like her home.
I'm so happy I trusted Sasha again. I always knew, even after everything that happened, we'd work it out.
Yeah.
Oh, it ends now. I want to be someone better.
Hey, it's like her
Someone that deserves you.
end of
I know
discussion.
what I have to do.
You're gonna do this little eye thing. But now it's for her redemption.
Robot Army is on its way to destroy Wortwood.
I mean, you might have want to ease them into it a little bit
That's not all. I lied
better
to you
than that.
about Aunt. I'm no guardian.
Oh, hey,
I'm
and
a
her theme
fraud.
too. Alright, alright.
Fraud or not, though, I'm gonna do the right thing for once in my life. With
There
my
we
last
go.
breath,
The
I'm
redemption.
gonna defend this town.
Alright, starting with that thing.
Honestly, that doesn't seem that bad.
But it's really big? Okay, yeah, and there's multiples. Alright, who's gonna come and help? Grime or Wardwood? Maybe
Oh,
both.
no.
But you know what she doesn't have?
You?
You, Lieutenant.
There we go, yeah. Yeah.
Sky, robot, sky!
You gonna hit him with your accordion?
His belly! It's deadlier than any soldier!
All out? There you go. You did it! You got your little army, your army of farmers and common townsfolk.
Taking those robots on alone to protect us frogs?
It really is something Anne would have done.
Thanks, you guys.
True.
We start fighting back.
There we go. The redemption, the beginning of the rebellion. Oh man, the Sasha episodes are always like the best ones. Like I love the other episodes, like, you know, that feature Anne and Marcy, obviously, but Sasha's episodes are just always top notch. Man, it's gonna be so exciting to see where the show goes from here. So after the season 3 premiere, with the new normal, we have Hop Till You Drop and Turning Point, the latter of which has been a highly anticipated episode for Sasha's redemption arc. I'll go over Hop Till You Drop first, but I'll definitely have more to say about Turning Point. I think Hop Till You Drop was pretty much what most people expected, a light-hearted, fun episode of Anne being back at home and the Plantars getting used to being on Earth. The new normal was a lot heavier with some of its emotional moments and also the importance of Anne actually getting home. A bit of levity was sure to follow. The whole premise of this episode is that the Plantars aren't prepared to live on Earth. Polly has too much of a temper and is too aggressive, Sprig gets too curious and wants to touch everything, and Hop Hop is gullible and naive and is getting scammed at every turn. The thing that's interesting is that this episode is supposed to parallel what Anne went through in Amphibia, but this time we're seeing it from the Plantars' perspective. And while Anne was initially unhappy being in Amphibia, she grew to like it over time. But here with the Plantars, they are actually pretty eager to go out and see more of LA. I think a big part of that is that Anne and the Plantars now have an established relationship. When Anne first got to Amphibia, she didn't have anyone, but she slowly warmed up to the Plantars. And now that the Plantars and Anne are so close, they want to spend time with her and learn more about where she is from. They will obviously want to return home at some point, but for now, they have Anne. However, their eagerness to learn more about Anne's world is getting them in trouble. So in order to train them up a bit, Anne decides to take them to the most chaotic place she knows, the mall. And I have to agree, I hate the mall. Even before COVID times, I can't remember the last time I stepped into a mall. So this really is an instance of throwing the Plantars into the deep end. And it goes about as well as you'd expect. And in Hop Hop's case, I'm guessing he turned green because of the chlorine in the fountain. But during the Plantars test, Anne encounters one of her classmates, Gabby, who is happy to see her. And she doesn't seem to know exactly what happened with Anne and presumably Sasha and Marcy as well. She doesn't even mention them, though they all disappeared at the same time. And I'm guessing the police were involved in an investigation at some point, but that was likely kept under wraps and not made public, which would explain why Gabby didn't know much about Anne's disappearance. But bringing it back to the Plantars, during their little adventures there are some fun Easter eggs, like the Buzz on Maggie, Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, Cactar from Final Fantasy, and Mickey Mouse. Ultimately, the Plantars don't really overcome their habits, but they realize that Anne is right and that Earth is a bit more complex and harder to live in than they originally thought. It will probably take some time before they really start to get the hang of things, just like Anne in Amphibia, although Anne doesn't necessarily think that she had a hard time. And that's the overall message. Just because Anne wasn't aware the Plantars were always looking out for her doesn't mean that they weren't. And that they were there to support her when she needed it, and now Anne gets to do the same for them. But overall, I think this was a sweet and fun episode and served as the levity after the new normal and before Turning Point, the latter being highly anticipated because this episode was Sasha's turning point and a pivotal episode in her redemption. We first see the events from True Colors from Sasha and Grimes' perspective, these events happening a few days ago. Here, Sasha sees Marcy get stabbed by Andreas and Anne and the Plantars transported through the portal. With the box remaining in Amphibia, Andreas still goes forward with his plan. Olivia and Yunnan also say that they are on Andreas' side. Although I could see these two just lying to keep Andreas' trust and then try to help Marcy out. And I feel these two will eventually try to help Anne and Sasha out in their eventual fight against Andreas. But for now, they're keeping a low profile. Sasha and Grime can't really do anything to help Marcy right now, so Grime throws Sasha out of the window and follows behind. Thankfully, Joe Sparrow is able to save them from falling, cause Grime definitely didn't think that far ahead. But since they are on the run from Andreas, they take refuge in Wartwood. And not wanting to tell the truth, Grime lies that Anne and the Plantars are on a mission to stop Andreas, which I mean, it's not that far from the truth, but he and Sasha are there to protect Wartwood in the meantime. And to my surprise, they believe him. I know things were better after Battle of the Bands, but I'm still surprised that they trusted them so easily. The duo decides to stay at the Plantars' home. Grime seems to have no issue with their current plan, but Sasha can't even bring herself to step foot in the home. And I feel this is because this is the first time Sasha really has to face the consequences of her actions. This has really been building since reunion. That's when Sasha first saw Anne defend the Plantars, siding with them over her, and she grew spiteful over it. So in season 2, we see Sasha being upset about her situation with Anne, and that pushing her on the path that led her to true colors. But even in episodes like the Third Temple, the Dinner, and Battle of the Bands, we see Sasha wavering from that path. Ultimately, she and Grime go through with their plan, but the betrayal pushes Anne over the edge to not trust Sasha and believe Andreas, which sets this whole situation in motion. Sasha is realizing how her actions indirectly led to all of this happening. So this is her lowest point in the show thus far, even referring to herself as trash when sleeping in the barn. And by the way, when Sasha gets woken up in the barn, she mentions her natural hair color. Her hair was the same color in the flashback, so either Sasha's been bleaching her hair for a long time, she's bleached it or dyed it before, or people just don't believe that she's a natural blonde. But going back to Sasha's guilt. The layers of the guilt trip cake getting stacked when the people of Wartwood act like she's the town's hero doesn't help either. And when Grime wants to leave Wartwood after getting a letter from Beatrix, Sasha doesn't want to go along with that plan. Especially after one of the robots shows up in Wartwood. Sasha wants to stay and help protect it. With the duo at a bit of a disagreement, Grime tells Sasha to face her burdens in the Plantar house. This brings us to Anne's room, where Sasha reads Anne's diary. And there are some fun details in here, like the Kill-a-Pillar plush, the koala puzzle, or the outfit Anne wore in Battle of the Bands, among others. But when Sasha reads Anne's diary, she realizes that Anne was always genuine in trusting her and happy to be with her friends again. Whereas Sasha had ulterior motives and lied during their time together. This causes Sasha to truly have a turning point, apologizing to Anne and promising to better herself and be someone deserving of Anne's friendship. The close-up shot of Sasha's eyes is a familiar one, but this time around it isn't to manipulate or control Anne, but the defining moment in her development. So that was a nice way to tie that imagery together. Sasha then tells the truth and decides to defend Wartwood, starting with the robot that was called as reinforcement. Between her and Grime, who decides to stay alongside Sasha, they take out the main robot and the people of Wartwood take out all of the smaller ones. With the immediate threat defeated and the people of Wartwood now completely trusting Sasha and Grime, they start their plan to fight back against Andreas. And with that was Turning Point, definitely one of the strongest episodes in the series. Sasha episodes usually end up being some of the best in the series since she is a very complex character that has always struggled between doing the right thing and leaning into her desire for control. And now we got the episode that solidified her redemption arc, as she is no longer fighting for herself, but for the greater good of Amphibia. I know we'll primarily be with Anne and the Plantars in LA, but I am really excited to see Sasha and Grime in Wartwood as they start building a rebellion. Because now Andreas has a group of people who intend to take him down. So we'll see how or if that affects his plans. We likely won't see the big fight till the end of the season, but maybe we'll get a little something towards the mid-season finale. Regardless, I cannot wait to see how Sasha grows into her new role of a protector going forward as she fights to reunite with Anne and Marcy. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and until next time guys, take care.